I haven't turned my That must be you.
It's been so long since we've gone live.
You need to turn your speakers off. Yeah, mine are off.
Okay, I turned my sound off. It doesn't mean it's not making noise for everyone else.
Well, hold on. I can put my earphones on, and I'll be able. Once I unmute myself.
Hey, everyone. It's been a long time. Um, you all have probably fallen out of habit of joining us, and I'm sorry about that. We've had one heck of a summer. Our friend Charlie here, shortly after the last live we did with
I'm
you.
not hearing you.
You're not hearing me.
Is your mic working?
Do I have this? Do I need to turn this on?
Can you hear me?
There I am.
Now I can hear you.
Now you can hear me. That was the whole problem. Right. Okay. So the rest of that, I guess, was recorded through your microphone, huh? What I was saying, you could hear through your microphone.
Yeah, but my microphone's been out.
Hopefully, New Horizons is still here. So give us a howdy do to New Horizons if you're still here, please. Anyway, so he almost died on us twice. His nurse was supposed to show up today and change his dressing, and he didn't. And I'm going to have to do that probably when we go off the air. So, Miss New Horizons, do you garden? You're brand new here. Welcome in. Just had another person join us. Say hello, please. Yeah, and I guess I'll give it a few more minutes to see if who else shows up, and we'll start talking about this pile of mail I have here. And it's all seed. So while we're talking, I would like to announce that I have created another channel. Everyone needs more channels and they can't keep up with the first. But this other channel is just craft. And let me grab the URL for you. Or maybe Charlie can post it. Did you look it up, honey? Were you able to get it?
What am I looking up?
The crafting channel URL. Anyway, so it's called Bored as Heck, all one word, crafts. And put somewhere on my desktop here. Let me see. Yeah, I got it. So here is my URL for the new channel. If it'll post. Oh, let's see. I have to take that person out that just popped up because they are a troll. Oh, things are so much fun. So what are we doing this fall? Well, I'm always looking for new things to grow. You know me. So I've got some seeds here that I'm going to start in the next couple of weeks, I think, or even sooner. They're desert roses. You know what a desert rose is? They're really quite lovely. But anyway, I thought, well, if I could start some for seed, it's a succulent, which means it's going to grow real slow. That by next spring, mid-spring, I should have small plants to sell. I won't know what color they're going to bloom because until they start blooming, and they'll gotta be, just a great plant by that time. So a lot of people have told me that the seed that I sent them from my seed in the mail never got to them. And That's really kind of strange. I don't know what's happening to the seed that I'm mailing out. However, I've started getting packages of seed that I've ordered that are coming to me looking like this. They're in a bag and they say, "We care. We're so sorry to have mangled and destroyed your package." One package came to me totally ripped open and empty. And this is what the post office is doing with seeds that are mailed out. I'm wondering how many of the seeds that I sent out ended up mangled and never even arrived at their destination. I don't know what to do because this envelope that was supposed to have seed in it is totally empty. And that's the second one of those we've got. Right, Charlie?
Don't know.
So if you've won seed from me and you didn't get it, and you didn't get a oops, sorry from the post office, I swear to you, it went out in the mail. God knows what the Postal Service is doing nowadays. Let me show this. So life is interesting. So as I was saying, we tend to eat from the garden year round, and I can't remember whether I've posted the beginning of our fall revamp out front, but we have put down bales of straw because we do the straw bale gardening in the raised beds, and we're cooking it right now. Go back into my video library back a couple of years, or search with search thing, straw bale gardening, and go back to the very first one. I give like a seminar, and it's Bobby over at Black's Tropical Homestead said it was the best tutorial that he had seen on straw bale gardening. So go look that up and you'll see what we're doing. You can start a straw bale garden any time of year. Any time of year. It just takes longer to process it. So you'll see what I mean by cooking. And we're about halfway through the cooking of our straw bales. It's dry as a bone out there. We went from having a really wet spring to a quasi-dry summer, and now it's, how long has it been since we've had rain? 3 weeks? And with no rain in sight, really, or the significant rain anyway. And we should be heading into the fall raining season sometime in October, I think. Let me look and see when the fall raining season starts in Georgia. According to NOAA, the 2025 is going to be a wet, stormy finish, particularly in November. October and September are the driest months of the year in Georgia, so we've got to tough it out another few weeks. So, what did arrive? Well, the first thing that arrived, and I hope you all enjoy me and my enthusiasm for garlic. Now, I ordered this the first time ordering garlic from Baker Creek. I had vowed, here comes the cat. I had vowed to not buy fancy garlic cloves anymore because they grow just as well as garlic from the Asian market here. And I like the garlic with a lot of purple stripes on the cloves. So, of course, I get this alert from Baker Creek. Garlic is in. And I'm like, oh, heck. And I went and looked, and sure enough, they had a couple of varieties that are hard to find. And you would know, hey, this is German hardy. My cat's about to jump behind me. Yes. Hello. That's GB. He's 23 or 24 years old now. Anyway, this is German Hardy. And kind of pricey. So I got 2 bags of German Hardy, 4 bulbs each. $22 for that. So instead of planting that all together, I'll interdisperse it amongst the brassicas. So from the Amazing Seeds, Knoll Blossom Lane, Richmond, Texas. What did I order from that? Large leaf sorrel and bitter gourd. The bitter gourd will probably grow next spring. It's hard to find, but I like the Chinese bitter gourd. And I wouldn't have ordered it other than I haven't been able to find Chinese bitter gourd seed this year for this growing season we just finished. And actually, a friend of mine gave me a couple of plants of Indian bitter gourd that is blooming but not producing. It's been a really weird year. But those are those seeds. That's the gourd seed for next year. Going to have to store it in a cool, dry place out of the light. Now, usually I have suitcases full of seeds, but all of it is several years old now, and it's time kind of to refresh. So I'm refreshing all my seed. This is French sorrel. And I'll go ahead and start that. It germinates. Is there a cat at the window, huh? A dog's under my desk making noise. The French sorrel will come up within a few days, and it'll go through the winter. It's got a spade-shaped leaf the size of my hand, and it's very tart, lemony, and I love it. I mean, salad, stir fries, soups. The French make a cream soup out of it by putting it in a blender with garlic and onions and maybe some shallots and heavy cream, and boil it up and serve it with a nice French bread from Dunkin'. It really is quite nice. So that was the Amazing Seeds Company from Knoll Blossom Lane in Richmond, Texas, or Tejas. This order came from Seed Therapy in Frisco, Texas. And a lot of these companies I find on Etsy. And I like supporting Etsy growers because they're small backyard businessmen like we are. And I really think it's a good idea to support your small businesses with the corporations taking over everything and trying to control what we have available. As you see, I've got quite a few seeds. So, what did I find? Let's see. I have a bunch of carrot seed. Black Nebula, Tender Sweet, which is a orange, I think, sweet carrot. Purple, Georgia collard greens, Armenian yard-long cucumber seeds. Might be a little bit late in the year to plant those, but usually in the fall you can do another round of cucumbers. Black Beauty eggplant for next spring. Large purple eggplant for next spring. Rosa Bianca eggplant for next spring, which is the the white and purple stripes on it. Eggplant, that's Charlie's favorite. My favorite kale, which are the dragon kales or lacinato, Tuscan kale, and then lettuce, butter crunch, giant green peppers, big red bells, sunbright bells, cayennes, purple beauty, pepper seeds, and then radish, black Spanish radish, brown zucchini, and pink banana squash. And not to be left out, but the ruby red Swiss chard. And it looks like they discounted something for me. So out of this group, the sorrel, the chard, the carrots, the radishes, we're going to start right away within the next couple of weeks in the ground once the bales get cooked. Let's see. This is from a Vietnamese person by the name of Nan Ha. So Nan Ha lives in Oklahoma City, Oklahoma. Again, found them on Etsy. And I tried to ask them a few questions, but their English wasn't the best. So I gave up and I figured, I've been gardening a long time. I married a farmer. We could figure it out, right? So this had to have been peppers. Oh, I see. These are seeds that I have some seeds for the peppers I grew. It's called Thunder Mountain, but for diversity, I got seeds from them. Now the Thunder Mountain cayenne is usually a foot long, a full foot, and it's kind of an amusing cayenne pepper. It'll come out and it'll twirl, and it holds onto branches next to it, and instead of hanging down, it twirls around other things. So they're kind of fun, and I can actually, they're mild enough to hot, but they're mild. They don't attack you. So I actually chew on them in the garden while I'm gardening. Charlie doesn't necessarily do that. He's not a pepperhead like I am. So I'm going to really limit next year what I grow pepper wise. I usually do 50, 60 different varieties. And I've decided that people don't really seem to buy my pepper plants that are the stranger, more unique varieties. They go towards things that they're familiar with. So I don't know if the pepperhead craze is passing or what, but I'm going to stick with Jamaican Scotch bonnets, which are really popular. My favorite cayennes, bird peppers from Thailand. What else, Charlie, do we use? Jalapenos, the sweet bells, Turkish cordula. That'll probably do it for next year. So this one is from Tim's Tomatoes, and Tim is in Wesley Chapel, Florida. They're the same time zone. And I told Tim I was going to be going live tonight if he wanted to pop in and talk to us about his seed operation and what all he offers. But Tim has sent me my Thai bird peppers. Now, again, I grew my own, and I did save seed, but I want more genetic diversity, so I'll grow Tim's and mine next year. And then I really stocked up on Scotch bonnet. Now, Scotch bonnets come in several different shapes, sizes, and colors. And I think that the Scotch bonnet that Tim is growing is the Scotch bonnet that I brought with us from Florida. We brought a plant or 3 plants up with us from South Florida in 2014 that lasted 8 seasons before they died. And, I moved them inside for the winter. So I want to do that again, but again, I'm restocking my seed variety. I got 2 packets with all the seed in it. Now that's a lot of Scotch bonnets, but I was selling the plants before I even advertised I had them for returning customers, and they come get 15, 20 plants. Then Tim sent me something as a gift. Heirloom tomatoes. The photograph has different color. If I remember correctly, it was very reasonably priced. Let me see if this is an invoice, and I'll let you know how much you spent. So if you support these smaller seed companies or the backyard growers, you're going to get quality seed for a lot less money than the professionals do. And people will say, "But peppers are open pollinated. What if these smaller businesses don't know to isolate their seed? Because you'll have a certain percentage of it that has cross-pollinated with another type of pepper, and you get some sort of weird hybrid." But I hate to tell you, the seeds I'm getting from Baker Creek, and I gave up on Johnny seed, and some of the professional growers have not been what I bought. I'll grow them out in a tray and then plant them and label them, and they're not what they claim to be. So not even the so-called professional growers aren't doing a very good job isolating the seed. Okay, there's printing on. So Tim, if you come in, let us know how much I paid for the seed. That's a bill. Anyone want a bill? Now, I'm a member of Atlanta Backyard Growers, and it's a group of garden enthusiasts, all different skill levels here in Atlanta, but most everybody is from somewhere on the Indian continent, whether it's Bangladesh, India proper, Pakistan, and that area. Excuse me. And they were talking about how the okra in this country doesn't have much of a flavor. And there are 2 varieties of okra that they were chatting back and forth on. So yours truly goes on to Etsy and type in the 2 names of the okra they're talking about. And the pictures of them, the okra is a lot longer and thinner than the okra we grow here, like the Clemson Spine. And I guess you let it get to a size that the American okra that we would think it'd be too fibrous. But this came to me from Mummy and Me Gardens in Crosby, Texas. We've got a lot of ethnic seed vegetable growers out of Texas. This is called, getting old here, Chanchal okra seeds, CHANCHAL. That's Chanchal okra of India. And Komal, KOMAL, okra seeds of India. Now this is a surprise for Charlie. So Charlie's hearing about this for the first time. Charlie, I got you 150 okra seeds from India, and we'll direct sow them next spring when Dr. Atta plants his. We're going to follow his lead, right? He's got to let the cat in. Cat comes in and out the office window. It's Brucey the garden cat that you see in my videos. So the last packet I'm going to open in front of everybody is my order from Baker Creek. And of course, Baker Creek, their packaging is pretty. One of the reasons I order from Baker Creek is they have free shipping. And that's why I do my, when I do the wheel, to do my giveaways here on this channel, I order from Baker Creek. It doesn't charge me, it doesn't cost me to mail them to you. And they do seem to arrive, whereas seeds I've been sending out don't necessarily arrive. So this little boy, we've kind of watched him grow up at Baker Creek. He started out as a little kid, all sitting on a winter melon, and now he's growing up next to kale. You can see him on that. So this is again Toscana kale, my favorite kale. I grew lemongrass this year from seed. It did really well. I have a feeling it's going to overwinter really well. But my customers that came Jamaican peppers, my Scotch bonnet, tried to buy lemongrass from me, and I'm like, no, that's mine. So next year I'll grow it to sell. Lemongrass, and here Chinese cabbage, Swiss chard, yellow carrot. I'm finding that I really enjoy the red carrots and the purple carrots. Orange and purple. Yellow's okay. Orange is okay. But you're trying to do a variety of color. Amazing cauliflower did really well for us last year. Our resident groundhog enjoyed everything we planted in the back. But this is a variety that does well in this part of Georgia, north of Atlanta. There's a Japanese edible flower. It's called Mizuna. This is, again, it's easy to grow. And I just have to really kind of just broadcast the seed where you want it to come up. And it'll come up there and it'll bloom. It's a chrysanthemum. And it'll bloom and spit out seed, and you'll get Mizuna everywhere around your garden. But that's okay because it's feathery and it's pretty. The flavor is a little bit horseradishy. So it adds a little bit of a punch to your salad or sandwiches or stir fries. Extremely easy to grow, extremely yummy. We like our Asian vegetables. So here's a variety of bok choy. Again, germination is usually really high on this, and it really tastes good. And here's the darker carrot I was telling you about. Do you think maybe I like dark carrots? That's an orange carrot. This is a call it Marbury scallop squash, and I grew this a couple of years ago, and they were delicious. Ag-born Jamaican. Just asking you how you doing, Charlie. Ag-born Jamaican promised me he was going to come see me this summer. He didn't come, and I bought, as a gift to you, an ackee tree. Yep, ackee, A-C-K-E-E. And maybe he can tell everybody what an ackee is. And my dear friend, your ackee tree is sitting on the table behind the house. And if you don't come get it, I'm going to enjoy it. So come see me, and we'll do a joint video. Come on now. Yeah, well, if you can swing by, if you drive by the house. He says he's a truck driver. He's always on the road. So Ag-born Jamaican, Charlie says he's getting by still above the ground. And really, there were a few times this summer where and he almost wasn't above the ground. And due to hospital error. And we can't find an attorney to help us out with malpractice. So New Horizons Above and Beyond is going to be working on some more gardening and homesteading videos very soon. Good. I can't wait to see them. And trips in the future. We can't go between our health problems and all the animals here. You know, people, when you ask them to house sit, they tell you things like they're afraid of chickens. Afraid to feed the chickens. Can you imagine? You had mangoes. Is your mango tree in a pot? I didn't think they would produce when they're that small. Anyways, and while he's going to answer that, we're also going to grow beets this fall. Now, I love beet greens. I don't particularly like the beet root, but I like beet greens. What variety mango are they? Are they the yellow Haitian mangoes, or are they the big mangoes? What type of mangoes do you have? They're grafted. Okay, so I think they're older than they are. I love spinach. This grew really well for us this year. Oh, look, a freak. So Baker Creek looked at what I ordered and said, "Oh, this lady likes Asian greens," and has sent us, Charlie, some chijimisai. How do you say that? So what kind of mangoes are they, hon? If you have trouble growing kale, this is the type of kale you want to order. You can almost just broadcast that on the soil and it'll come up live. It'll go all winter long until the heat of the next summer and sometimes beyond. So that's an all winter plant. I've got bitter melon coming. This is for next spring as well. Golden acre cabbage. I think this is a cabbage that Charlie and I grew year before last. It got huge, the cabbage heads. Golden beets, we had a good luck with in the garden last year. So we're growing them again this year. And this I'm excited about. No, that's hey, Eggborn Jamaican. Here's some callaloo, but they're calling it amaranth. And he's saying he had East Indian, Julie, and Bebe. Are those cultivars? I'll have to look them up. Are those the really big mangoes or little teeny ones? Another type of cabbage. We're going to start eating more cabbage here. Now, green Swiss chard. These are all fall, winter, spring greens. Yellow heart winter choy. Some of these I'm going to try to grow in my green stalk planters. Georgia collards. You know, those will go through the cold weather as well. The Mizuna I showed you earlier, the green Mizuna, that's the Japanese edible chrysanthemum. Here it is in purple. Slightly different flavor, but it's a very sharp, like a radish or a horseradish. Wonderful vegetable. Suzanne, I'm so glad you're here. That's okay, honey. I'm glad to see you. I missed you this summer. French sorrel, it's a perennial. This is a green perennial. It's very lemony. It's not like the sorrel you're used to, Agborn Jamaican. I forget your first name. Please tell me your first name. Randy? Not Randy. What's your name? Please. Anyway, this is very tart and it's grown all over Europe. Soups, stir fries. I like putting it using instead of lettuce on a sandwich. If you want a tart crunch. I did 2 packages of this. And 2 packages of the what do you call it? Napa. Now, when we first moved in here, I planted a lot of Napa in my straw bale garden, one of my first ones. And was volunteering at a wildlife center, and one of the ladies there had a couple of older possums. She was getting married, and the lady she was marrying wouldn't allow the possums in the house. So, tears, she asked me, would I adopt her two girls? And I did. So I took them in, and this possum was and named Daisy. And I would take Daisy out to the garden with me, and she'd play around in the soil and whatever. But possums love slugs. And when we would garden and we'd find slugs, we'd put them in a jar and carry them inside to the possums and sprinkle them in their cage. I call them slime candy because they're slimy. And those possums would grab those things up and just stuff them in their mouth as fast as they could. So they love their slugs. So I took Daisy out to the garden with crunch, 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 because I garden I sit down on a little rolly bench because I've got a bad back. I hear this crunch, crunch, crunch behind me, and I turned around, and she was taking the Napa cabbage heads and peeling the leaves off. And it was going crunch, crunch as she was peeling those leaves and eating slugs that were down in the bottom of those leaves. Not eating the cabbage, eating the slugs. And I'm like, Daisy. Unfortunately, possums, most possums you meet are infected with lungworms, and worms get down in their lungs, and they end up choking the possums. But they get them from slugs. So I'm telling you that not just to gross you out, but to make sure that if you've been picking vegetables in your garden or picking up slugs, wash your hands and wash those vegetables before you consume them, because yes, humans can get lungworms, and once you've got them, you don't get rid of them. Tony, okay, we've got to remember his name is Tony. So Tony, when you coming for your tree? You said you were in Winder. We're between Winder and DeKalb County. We're really close to DeKalb County, just this side of Stone Mountain. If you're heading down Pleasant Hill toward DeKalb County, you'll be within a half mile of our house. So you can swing by. I'm sure you can swing by. So I'm going to welcome everyone who just showed up and who's been wondering where we were this summer. And to tell you that I do have a new channel. I just launched it yesterday. I think I still have the URL in my memory. I'm going to post that again, and then I should probably check and make sure that is my channel one. Yeah. All right, so that is Bored as Heck Crafts. So if you like making things, join me. The video is super long because I actually make a bracelet. It's a boho, they call it boho bracelet. It's a braided cord with semi-precious healing stones in it. So that's all my catch up. You want to catch us up anything about you, Charlie, other than you trying to die on me? No. So what have you all been up to? Tony, you already know you got some mangoes. Were they good? Were they disappointing or were they good? I might as well stick all these seeds in one thing. Do any of these vegetables look like something you guys would want to try? So that's my fall winter garden, and some things for spring. I do have seeds that I raised. What was this? Oh, these are my Thunder Mountain seeds. These are my Thai bird peppers. These are my Turkish Cardula pepper seeds. So I still have, my seeds, but again, the diversity, that's more Cardula seeds I ordered from others. Oh, I had one pepper come off of a Scotch bonnet bush that I got from Humble Servant, who has a channel here on YouTube, and he grows Scotch bonnet. So I ordered seed. The plant's a big, beautiful plant, but it only gave me one pepper, and that's it. My one Scotch bonnet, and it's a true Jamaican flat Scotch bonnet, and I'm letting it dry here, babysitting it. It's got its own little bowl, and I'm babysitting it to make sure I can start some more seed this coming end of December. So cool. While I'm waiting for Tony to tell me what else he's growing and tell me what kind of mangoes, I'm going to look up Julie Mango and Bebe. Okay, the Julie Mango is a small, flat, green skin mango with a red blush, brightens to orange, yellow flesh, rich, sweet, slightly spicy. Often described as having a coconut note. That's interesting. Bebe. Bebe mango does not come up. Wild apples. I used to love those up in New England. You're having a drought up there in Vermont? Are you going to be drying any of them, Suzanne? Slice them up and dehydrate them. So if you do that and you get a good stash in a glass jar in your kitchen, sometime in the middle of winter, maybe I can give you my mother-in-law's fried apple pie recipe. She would reconstitute those little apples, so she would slice and dry with, I think she used pear juice, Charlie. Do I remember that correctly? She'd soak them in pear juice and then add like cinnamon, a little bit of sugar, and roll out biscuit dough. Put like a tablespoon of the rehydrated apples in that, fry them in a pan, fold it over, seal it, and fry it in a pan. Yeah, we're kind of in drought here too, Suzanne. So let me ask you, Suzanne, did you get notification for our live tonight, or did you respond to the email I sent? Because I've got a note that came to me from YouTube saying that they're having issues live streaming. These trees are completely unsprayed. Current map, U.S. drought monitor. Holy smokes. Yeah, Vermont's got it bad, huh? So we shouldn't complain, Charlie. Look at the map. Good Lord. Yeah, Suzanne she's up from Vermont and she's got a severe drought up there. That's unusual for New England. I grew up in New England. Marshall Islands are having a problem. Part of the Aleutian Islands and Hawaii's got a real problem. That's surprising. Isn't this monsoon season over there? U.S. Puerto Rico's got some drought. Severe drought, dark orange, and that's Vermont. But we are abnormally dry here, babe. With extreme and exceptional drought in parts of Texas and Oklahoma, it looks like. Global warming. Hey, Gwen, thanks for coming. It's really good to see you. So, Gwen, are you doing any type of gardening this fall and winter? You missed our walk through the peppers, the seeds that I ordered. I've missed everybody, and I'm sorry for the not to morph off of the drought discussion, the dry spell of us coming online to spend time with you. But it's been a traumatic summer for both Charlie and I. And he's in pain. He almost died. It's really traumatic for him, but darn it, living through it and suffering, watching him suffer. I don't want to go through that again. Charlie, just heal. Please, Charlie. Please heal my husband. I need him and I want him. And I think he got sick just to get out of finishing the pizza oven for me. No reaction.
There's a time delay.
There's a time delay. Yeah, climate change theories that Al Gore talked about said more weather extremes seems those theories were right. Yeah, but you know what? It was a woman in the late 1800s. Was it late 1800s, Charlie? That predicted all this. Charlie will be able to tell you her name. He remembers things like that.
I don't remember her name, but yes, it was a woman.
Late 1800s was a woman.
She was prevented from publishing because she was female.
Prevented from publishing her work because she was female. It sounds familiar.
A guy published something almost exactly what she said 10 years later. He usually gets
of course
the credit for it.
Yeah. There certain aspects in this country are trying to turn us back to the time when we would have a voice as well. Adrienne, thanks for coming. You missed the go through all the seed presentation. But yeah, Gwen, we've got 2 or 3 kinds of cabbage here, and bok choys, purple bok choy, edible flowers. Hey. Tony, who's ag board Jamaican, says that he actually had a couple of mangoes this year from his mango tree. He lives just up the road from here.
Eunice Newton Foote.
Say that again?
Eunice Newton Foote.
Eunice Newton Foote, Foote.
Yep.
She's the one that first came up with the climate change theory, and she was at
1819 to 1888.
1819 to 1888 is when she was alive. So a woman way back then told us we better get our act together, and of course we didn't listen. We're still not listening. Oh.
See, She came up with her hypothesis in 1856, according to Wikipedia.
1856, according to Wikipedia, is when she hypothesized. Well, did you know that who was it that invented, gets credit for inventing the light bulb? Alexander Graham Bell, and or was it Einstein?
What?
Electricity.
What was your question?
Which one is credited for having invented, or like the light bulb, coming up with that?
Thomas Edison.
That was okay. Yeah, Edison. Did you know that was actually his wife, or was it Einstein's wife that came up with a lot of stuff and he took credit?
That's why it came up with a lot
Okay,
of
so it's
his
Einstein's wife. So they came up with what?
A lot of his theories.
Yeah. So she came up with a lot of Einstein's theories and he took credit. So Suzanne's thanking you. Thanks, Charlie, for looking that up.
You're welcome.
Adrian's saying, "Hey, Charlie." Of course, Adrian's on my Facebook page, so she gets to see all my political rants. Let's start a political discussion here, or unless y'all just come here to escape all that crap. What do you think about this? What was his name? The guy that was just assassinated, Charlie Kirk. Is that his name, Charlie Kirk? What is y'all's reaction to that? Just out of curiosity. What is your reaction? I won't tell you Charlie's reaction because it wasn't nice. So where are we going in this country? Are we going to see more political violence or what? And yes, I know you can see my back behind Charlie. And yes, I put on a lot of weight. I don't know why. I don't eat much, do I, honey?
No, it's amazing how little you eat.
Yeah. And I'm still ballooning up, which makes me wonder if my heart's going too. But Adrian says he was far from being a Christian. You can't claim Christianity and be political. I think you can be political, but you're not supposed to be hateful. Politics doesn't have to be hateful. But I don't care what religion you are. We're not supposed to be this way to each other, right?
Be like Bernie Sanders.
Be like Bernie Sanders, yeah. Old Bernie. We're seeing 1984 Big Brother's watching. That's how I feel. Yeah, you can't pass wind in your own house without Big Brother knowing, it seems, huh? The refugees we help, they're hurting. They are hurting, and they're scared to death, if you can imagine. I read somewhere in the last week or two that Trump has ordered more than 3 million immigrants and from the United States so far. 3 million.
Who are not immigrants because he never had.
Not all of them were illegal. A lot of them were legal, had green cards, weren't criminals. But when you think about those people were paying taxes on their wages, so we've lost that tax income from their wages. That's a big hole in our workforce. A lot of them work essential jobs that Americans are too, or white Americans anyway, too fat and lazy to work. Okay. What are we doing to ourselves? So what would you consider MAGA if you don't think it's MAGA politics? What term would you use? And don't even get me going to Palestine. But people are so afraid now to even mention that country, to mention that people. There's so much censorship. I never thought I'd see the day when there was this level of censorship in the United States. So what do we do in response? We garden, right? But with the crops that aren't being imported because of tariffs, and the crops that aren't being harvested from our growers and that won't reach the market, aren't you glad that you garden? Most of the people garden here. You see how essential gardening skills are. I hope that all of us that are successful gardeners share our produce. Take care of yourself first, and learn to learn how to dry things, freeze all that you can. But of course, if the power grid goes down, you're going to lose what you've frozen. But take care of your family first, and I hope we all share the excess. I do. Okay, so Suzanne says, I see some claiming it's racism. It's actually xenophobia. I don't know if there's a difference, which is ironic, given how recently Trump came over and his immigrant wife. I guarantee you his wife is illegal. I guarantee you she came over illegally. Trump is sending white people out of America too. Very important to know something about gardening. Also foraging. I have got my reaction to foraging is I want people to stay out of the woods. Why? Because a lot of edible plants are over harvested. Foraging needs to be done intelligently, leaving enough of the plant for it to survive. If you go in, which most of your novices will go in and take everything fine, well, that kills off your supply for next year. It removes that plant from the ecosystem. So I think people need to stay out of the woods and not forage. And maybe, there's seed and plant suppliers of medicinal, medicinal seeds. Y'all tell me what I think about that. Name some suppliers, strictly medicinal herbs, that you can get things that you would forage for and actually grow them in your own space. I think that's better than sending people into the woods. Because in a drought, those weeds like lamb's quarters survive when your lettuce is dead. Have you ever cooked lamb's quarters? We used to eat them when we were first married. We've got them all over the yard. We have some in back by the rose and fig tree. Right, Charlie? Some lamb's quarter?
Yeah.
I debated whether I wanted to put stinging nettle in, but I'm afraid of it getting out of control, and then you've got stinging nettle all over the yard, and you won't be able to wear shorts and walk through the grass. So what else can we grow that? We planted all these survival tubers. Remember that video we did? And the only ones that have really survived the drought are the yacon from Peru. And remind me in the morning, honey, to water. I'm going to need to water the yacon. Happy birthday! Are you getting older? Some of that stuff just lived here naturally. No need to plant pigweed or lamb's quarter or stinging nettle. Yeah, there's no stinging nettle in the neighborhoods here because they've eradicated all the natural stuff. Hey, Adrian. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. You definitely feel older. Hey, I turned 65 this year, July. I am now on Medicare. Can you believe that? Medicare? Me? On Medicare. I'm on Medicare. Both Charlie and I are Medicare old farts. But I'm glad he's on Medicare. It's going to cover his hospital stay. Yeah. So, how are your kids doing in the military, Adrian? You worry at all about hostilities heating up worldwide with your in the military? Whenever I see the shenanigans that are going on militarily, I think of my friends, internet and in real life, whose kids are enlisted. Um, my supervisor at work, his son, who is just finishing up high school, or just finished high school this spring, enlisted in the National Guard. I was so proud and so excited, and I asked him. I said, "How are you going to feel when he's deployed to U.S. cities?" Because that spring Trump was talking about doing that, and my supervisor says, "Oh, that'll never happen." Well, it's a stinky place to be in. Are you going to, if you're enlisted, are you going to feel okay pointing a gun at your fellow citizen? Wars wouldn't be fought if they didn't have people willing to do the fighting. So what would happen if we just lay down our arms?
A lot of folks go to jail.
A lot of folks go to jail. They'd have to stop after a while. They don't have room for us all. Blue Jacket of the Quarter Award. Yes. That's very nice. That's very nice. But you know what about feeling older, Adrian? Age is just a number, and I know that's a cliche. But I think if you keep thinking in your head, I'm old, I'm old, I'm old, then you start acting old. I spent most of my adulthood telling everyone, especially people who called me the BITCH word, that is a compliment because that means I'm a battle axe in training. And what I wanted to be when I got to be an older woman is I wanted to be that woman like Madge, Madge the cartoon, where you've got your sun hat on and your gloves, and you can walk into a restaurant or any room, say anything you damn well please, and get away with it. Right? That's the old lady I want to be. That's the old lady I want to be. But that's me. Yeah, I do. I speak my mind. Sometimes people look at me horrified, but they don't dare say anything. And you can see the thought process. Oh, she's old. Now they have another word for me is Karen. But it took practice. Early menopause. Yeah, well, I went through menopause when I was 37. And they put me on hormones and pulled me back out of it. And then I started going through it again in my 50s. And finally got to the point where I wasn't, doing what women do once a month. And yeah, I put on a little bit of weight and started growing hair in weird places. But then we moved here to Georgia. And I was really, really excited because I could grow horehound. It's a medicinal herb. And it's something I grew up with in New England. And Suzanne can tell us about this because she probably can still get horehound candy because one of the last manufacturers is the Vermont Country Store, carries it. It's manufactured in her part of the country. And it helps you with a cough. It's an expectorant. So I started growing it, and my first winter here, I got really, really bad bronchitis. You know, moving from the tropics, South Florida, to wet, cold Atlanta, I got congested. It was really bad. So I started drinking the horehound tea to get rid of the phlegm, and I started bleeding. And one thing I didn't know about the herb was that you don't want to take it if you're pregnant because it can cause you to miscarry, but it brings on your period. So it actually reversed my menopause. It reversed my menopause. So I went through, so far I'd been through all the hot flashes and the mood swings and everything twice. Just got through it. Reversed my menopause with my horehound tea and had to go through it the third time. So Adrienne, I'm right there with you. Osteopenia. Osteopenia, that is prelude to osteoporosis. I'm going to look it up. Lower than normal bone mineral density, but not low enough to be osteoporosis. It is a precursor. Well, according to this, take a lot more calcium, vitamin D, and magnesium. And eat your leafy green vegetables and dairy products, Adrienne, according to this. Very good, very good. Yeah, and if you're trying to absorb calcium and magnesium and those vitamins, make sure that whatever you eat and when you take your pills that you're putting a pinch of black pepper into the mix, because the black pepper will open up your ability to absorb the benefits from those things. Otherwise, they may pass right through you. Yeah. The things I learned when I was studying for my certification in herbal medicine, which is at the Chestnut School of Herbal Medicine. Everything's online. Look them up. It's kind of pricey, but the course is top notch academically. Yogurt. I learned that the dairy products can cause inflammation in your body. Dairy products and white sugar, right? So since I had broken my back and broken several bones in my body, and I'm at the age where I feel all the weather changes. I was trying to take care of my microbiome and keep all those enzymes going in my body, and you do a lot of that with fermented things like yogurt, buttermilk. And then I came across some literature that said that the milk products cause inflammation in your body. So I cut all the dairy out of my diet except for a little bit of my coffee in the morning. And started eating blueberries every day. And as long as I have the blueberries every day, my hips don't hurt me as much. And that's one thing to look forward to when you go through menopause is your hips start hurting. And that's a hormonal reaction to menopause. And I wonder how many women out there get hip surgery that if they had just changed their diet like I did, could have avoided surgery. Because as long as I eat my oatmeal, blueberries, and keep my intake of milk products to a low, I don't have near the level of pain. Your hips hurt. Yeah, so you've got it early. Cut back on your dairy. Start eating blueberries every day, Adrian. Let me know. Give it a week or two, but eat like a handful of blueberries every day. And yogurt, not yogurt, oatmeal, if you can stomach the oatmeal. Don't put sugar in it because that's an inflammation booster. So unsweetened oatmeal, handful of blueberries, a little bit of butter.
You go outside.
And try that for a couple of weeks and then let me know if you feel better. You love oats? Good. Yeah, sometimes our GPs are worthless. Yep. Ferments are high in histamine, so too much can bother me. You like yogurt if it's not too sour. Can you eat fermented onions, Suzanne? Are you okay with onions? Oh, yes, you're a woman. You're too stupid to figure out what hurts. Yeah. So, do you eat onions, Suzanne? I'm writing a note to myself to send Suzanne the fermented onion. Mostly use onion powder. If you pickle or ferment the onions, it gives you the not lactobacillus. What is the enzyme you want? You get from fermented onions. Extremely healthy and they're yummy. Fermented onions contain a variety of enzymes that are produced by the lactic acid bacteria, lactobacillus, right, and yeast involved in the fermentation process. Unlike enzymes found in raw onion, these enzymes are created by the microorganisms present, and they can break down different compounds such as starches and proteins. The health benefits of it'll improve your digestion. Great in probiotics that contribute to your healthy gut, healthy microbiome. They reduce bloating and gas. So if you want to improve your gut health, then the fermented onions, and you just put one or two like on a sandwich a day or chop them into a salad or whatever. So Adrian, would you like that link too for the fermented onions? They're really easy to do. And maybe you'll even film it for us, Adrian, as you go through it. I'd love to see your reaction to the fermenting process. That's all I'm going to say. But it's quite interesting, and we still have a jar out there, right, Charlie? I made 3. One jar I put thyme and garlic with it, and the other jar I did rosemary, and I forget what the third jar was. But you put your favorite herbs in it to flavor it. Wild apples are good probiotic-wise. Yes, they are. Yes, they are. I grew up in Sudbury, Massachusetts. And I don't know if you know where that is, but you probably know where the Boston Post Road is. Yeah, where the Grist Mill and Martha Mary Chapel and Wayside Inn. Does any of that ring any bells? That's on the Boston Post Road. Big tourist area. lots of New England history there. But my house was literally within eyesight of those three tourist attractions. And we had my dad built our house on what used to be a fruit orchard. So we had McIntosh apple trees all over our yard, over an acre of land. And just up the street, they were on a prune plum patch. So they had all the prunes there and like different patches of fruit trees that used to be an orchard. And all the neighbors, we would all trade back and forth. But yes, those, what ended up being wild apples were wonderful. So anyway, sorry for our absence. I can't promise that I'm going to be on regularly, but every now and then I'll pop up and do a live. I'll try to remember to give you some warnings, Suzanne. I'm so sorry I didn't do it this time. But at any rate, just because I haven't been here doesn't mean I don't love you all. And I think about you often, and I do pop in when I notice you're live. If I'm at my desk, I'll pop in and see what you're doing. And every now and then I'll say, hey. Charlie, is there anything you want to share with anybody? He's as usual talking to himself because I'm nonstop. No.
It's bedtime.
It's bedtime. Well, tell everyone how you're, about your trauma. Are you still traumatized?
It still hurts.
Yeah, he still hurts. It's like constant pain.
I got a 7 centimeter by 4 centimeter hole in my lower abdomen. Unfortunately, it crosses the area where your leg bends when it hits your abdomen. So it's like having a cut on the part of your finger where you use.
Yeah, his wound is literally, I can stick my fingers in his body that far down into him. And occasionally I have to change his bandaging for him. I thought the nurse said she was coming today. Maybe she did say she's coming on Friday, honey.
I'm pretty sure it was today.
So I don't know what's going on in the healthcare system between them making 3 almost fatal errors with you, Charlie, in the hospital.
Yeah.
And
Bleed to death, leaving me in shock. And I'm doing the 3rd one.
well, the 4th one was the doctor's office not giving you an appointment to come in and change your bandaging.
Yeah, it might.
And she says, oh, he slipped through the crack. And I said, doctor, how many cracks does this freaking hospital have? He's fallen through all of them. Okay. Had I not been there being Karen, he probably would be dead. I rode those people like a horse. And now he's supposed to have a nurse. Nurse is supposed to come every 72 hours to change this bandaging on this hole that's in him. And she was here Monday, so it should have been today, right? Not 72 hours? No nurse. So I'm going to go ahead and change him out after we go off the air here. Well, she's a wound care nurse. Well, thank you, Adrian. She says you're blessed and happy. I don't know how blessed he feels because he's always getting upset. Get off my back. And I'm like, if I weren't on your back, if I weren't on everyone's back, you'd be dead. But I stay up all night worrying. I head back to work at Home Depot next week, and I'll be a nervous wreck the whole shift, not being here to make sure he's okay. It's really turned me into a nervous Nelly. But this is supposed to be a wound care nurse, Adrian. Yeah, Suzanne, you don't go to the hospital unless you have a family member to fight for you.
Yeah.
So you came in a little late to hear me say, Adrian, that I've got a new channel. I posted the link. It's just for crafting. Really long videos, so when you have time to feel like relaxing, watching those. I've got two videos that are about to be up. About 40 minutes long. Making a bracelet. Don't worry, God hasn't brought him this far to leave him. I hope not. Suzanne, you know of anyone to fight for you? Well, I wish we were close by. I'd come fight for you. But life is interesting. I'm glad I'm here with Charlie. If Charlie weren't here, I wouldn't want to be here. And I've told him that. So on that happy note, I'll be starting my my fall garden, autumn garden, whatever you want to call it, as soon as the straw bales process. We're about what, halfway through the process, Charlie?
Yeah.
And I have never had a garden fail that I've done the straw bales in. So that'll be coming up, and I'll film it. And I think we'll start seed directly in the bales this fall. You have a decent doctor now. That's good. I'm glad we're both here too, Adrienne. I'm glad you're here, and I'm thankful for you and Suzanne and the people who come in, say hello. And I know we've got some lurkers right now. We're sitting there really quietly lurking. Just as long as you don't flash us, I guess we're okay. Oh. Thanks again for coming in. Time is precious. Don't forget to tell the people you love that you love them, because they need to hear it, and you never know when you'll get another chance to do that. So until next time, be good to each other, be good to yourself. Happy planting. Check out my new channel. And love you all. So take care. Bye.